pressure washing. What made you start to pressure wash?
Pressure washing is was not my first gig, dude. I was in music. I was in music for about 8 years here in Nashville, and I was touring all over the place. Toured with a lot of my heroes, got to write songs for a living. I was a paid songwriter for a while with a company here, with a real awesome company here in town. And so that was kind of cool. I look back on that and I was like, damn, dude, I was paid to write songs. They basically gave me an advance every year, and I just wrote songs every day. So that was kind of cool. I didn't look at it like that when I was in it, but I was doing that whole thing, and then like apparently 52% of the population divorce hits, and just
I've been there. I've been there.
slams into me like a torpedo, dude. And as a musician, man, you're broke until you're rich. That's kind of how it is in that game. And I was super broke, had like $500 in my account, and I got served papers. So I was kind of out on the street, living in my tour van, at the gym, and I was bathing because it was a 24-hour gym that I attended, so I could bathe before the owner got in the morning, and then like hop back in my van, dude. It was real cold. It's not as cold as it is in Ohio, but it's kind of a wet cold here, dude. It was just chilly, man. It's like an ice box in that thing. And I woke up one morning. I think I literally, this is hilarious, but I woke up and I saw a guy cleaning windows in like the plaza that the gym was in, right? Little plaza. And I was like, bro, like, what's he got? He's got a stick and some rubber on that thing. I was like, this is cheap. I can do it. I immediately went to Lowe's, bought a squeegee, and then my brother started talking to me. He was like, dude, you need to get into pressure washing, man, because you can make some more money with that than you're making with window cleaning. And I was like, well, I don't have the money to afford a pressure washer at the time. So it was a turning point, man. I was like, all right, I'll do this. I rented a pressure washer from Home Depot, Jason, the first one I rented. All right, every Home Depot washer rental, the downstream injector does not work.
No, it is corroded together.
Does not suck chems. I remember taking 4 Home Depot rigs back in one day and basically telling them I'm not paying until one of these works. And had no idea what an X-Jet was, had no idea what any of this stuff was that I could make my life easier. And basically for the next year and a half, I just dove in and didn't look up. So that was me. It was more of a survival mechanism than a want to. I didn't really have a separate job. I was, like I said, I was a songwriter. So.
And somebody asked a question, and it is a relevant question of what kind of music, and he's in Nashville. So, every Nashville person wants to try to become a country music singer. You can go down through any bar and you'll find all the wannabes down through there that is trying to find their way to make millions of dollars off of that one song, or find that one person to find you. Is that pretty much the way Nashville works, correct?
Yeah. If you kind of understand the game, there's different layers of people and there's different ways to do it. There's no set way to break into the industry. And my way to get my first publishing deal and to get my first manager, my first agent, was like, I never played down on Broadway, because I felt like that was an easy way for me to get sucked into making $150 a night. Those guys get sucked into that lifestyle, and then they start playing 2 and 3 and 4 shows a day, which is like 8 to 12 hours a day. You can imagine just the vocal, like just the destroying that it's going to happen here, singing Journey all day long. All right. Covers them, right? You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I'm going to avoid that at all costs. I'm going to bootstrap it and figure out how I can break in. And I got my first agent, which was APA, and they put me on tour immediately with Travis Tritt. So that was like really cool. They believed in me. I had a showcase, which a bunch of other big agencies came to, and APA immediately fired me the next day. They fired my ass, and CAA picked me up the next day. So those were the first people, which was an upgrade. CAA is like way bigger acts, and I started touring with Trace Atkins and a bunch of different acts like that. So So you got to figure out your way in. There's a bunch of different angles, and the most talented doesn't always win. So that's what's weird about it. In the music, in the pressure washing world, in the marketing world, it's just different. Like, what up, Cody?
What's up, man?
I'm gonna tell this story, and then we all gonna trio in. In the pressure washing world, the marketing world is different. If you are great at something, if you're great at marketing, if you're great at putting yourself out there, you will just win. Okay. Like, that's just the bottom line. Like, unless you can, if you got 200 leads and you suck at selling, all right, like, you just can trip over 10 to 20% and you can be all right. Music game is not like that. Doesn't matter if you can sing like Adele. Like, you have to have the right connections, the right links have to be in place. So,
yep. And so I muted you, Cody. You'll have to unmute yourself to get back up here because it was throwing some things in there. So, so let's go a little bit down that road since I still talked to you on here, Aaron. So when you were living in a van and you didn't have no money, what did you think? Did you just think, man, I could have started pressure washing and make millions of dollars right out of there, or make $100,000 right out of the gate?
No, man, I was in a real dark place because, you know, I like had a little boy and I didn't know when I was going to be able to see him. It was a dark, dark place for me. I didn't resort to any substance abuse or anything like that. I'm kind of the opposite direction. Like, I just kind of like, I just get mad and I like start gritting my teeth and I just like, I channeled Dean Parker, which is my dad, and I just like go to work. Like, that's what dad told me when I was in that van. He said, Aaron, it's real hard to be sad with a stack of hundreds in your pocket.
It is sad.
And I was like, you know, me in that time, that spoke volumes to me, because what he told me basically is get up and go get it. Get up. You know how to do this, is what he told me. You've been here before, just in a different way. You just got to go up and you got to get on your feet. And that's what this was for me. No, I didn't think anything about no six figures. I didn't think anything about nothing but survival for the first 6 to 8 months. That was it. I was just trying to get this house. You know, I was trying to pay rent. I was trying to figure out a way to, you know, if there was child support, I had to pay it because I wasn't going to see my son. Like, that was a gift looking back for me. It was such a gift, man. It made major changes in my mind that I would have never happened. They just wouldn't have, because I know the struggle I've been through and I know the path I was on. And if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have had that catalyst moment for myself that has just made me to a point right now where I just don't work for everybody. And back then I would have had a little heart, you know what I mean? I would have been like, well, you know, I should work for everybody, even if they ain't paying me. And now I'm just like, nope, you paying or you hitting the bricks. It's like, that's just how I am. It's made me a little more shrewd, but it's also given me another side of empathy as well. It's almost magnified both sides of that shrewd businessman and like empathetic individual, because I have a little boy. It's very interesting. I don't know. I was a completely different person in 2016, 2017 than I am now.
So so that all started in 2016 is when you basically got thrown up on top of your head and thrown out there to the wolves. And
yeah, man, you take that red pill, you never coming back, brother.
Yeah. So that's a good point what you've made there, because I know a lot of people that, you know, this year has been throwing them upside down. You know, they've lost their jobs. They've, you know, you can sit there and mope around and, you know, you don't get the $600 no more. And so you can mope around or you can go do something, you know?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you can, like I say, you can sit around, do nothing, or you can go out there and go kill and bring back. And that's what you got to do at the end of the day, you know? So
very liberating, man, to be able to do that, because now you truly control your destiny. It's an awesome feeling, because a lot of people don't understand what that is. They've been at a job their whole life. Somebody else controlled their destiny. And I'm going to tell you, for anybody out there that's in that, which most people have jobs.
Right.
So I get it. It's very scary, that first leap. But if you don't have the blessing I had, which was just pure desperation, like, it doesn't matter how you feel. Like mom and dad aren't coming. There's no ship. There's nothing going to come. So either you're going to rot and not see your son, or you're going to make this happen. Like I said, it was the biggest blessing for me looking back. So I couldn't imagine what it would be like to have like a lukewarm situation. Oh, like just a little trickle of money, just like, to where you got a little bit of food, but not enough. You struggling to pay rent, but it gets paid. You struggling to pay the car note. Dude, I had nothing. All right. So it was good. It was good for me.
And so you lived in your van in 2016, correct? Or was that one?
Yeah, for about 2.5 weeks. Yeah, it wasn't no, we weren't under the bridge, with a spoon or nothing like that. We were, it was a rough time.
Good. So when did you start really taking off of figuring out how to get customers? Because a lot of people figure out that's kind of the hardest thing, is to get customers at the end of the day. That's one of those things that, most people struggle, is because they can't get customer. A lot of people think that you got to go get the biggest rig and spend $25,000-$30,000 on a rig. And when they go talk about marketing, they're like, do what? How much I got to spend? No, I don't, but I can't show nothing for it. What's your thought on that?
So the first thing I did, and this was back when Nextdoor was not like a conglomerate or something. Nextdoor was like a free for all. It was very trusted, but it was still, you could post in Nextdoor, and they didn't have these neighborhood watch Nazis like taking down your posts for gutter cleaning or something like that. It was like real rogue, man. It was cool. Back in them days, it was cool. And I would post, gutter cleaning in Nextdoor. I would just like basically 2 or 3 times a week, I'd have a post running in Nextdoor. And now you got to pay, you got to buy a zip code or something like that. So that was my first kind of leap that helped me get some traction. That was free traction, was Nextdoor. And then I talked to a buddy and I was like, dude, I need to build a website. What should I build? He was like, well, you got Weebly or you got Wix. And I was like, well, hell, I don't know what none of them are. So I need to figure out a website. And so I built me a Wix site. And that's when I really started kind of seeing and studying where that site was lacking and why I wasn't getting any leads off the site. I started kind of diving into SEO and wondering why these bigger cats were at the top when I searched pressure washing Nashville. And that led me down a huge rabbit hole kind of to where I am now. So early it was Nextdoor, man. It was knocking. I knocked down 8th Avenue probably 10 times, man. And I got a bunch of window cleaning jobs just knocking. I kind of had to rekindle that edge too. That knocking, that edge you got to have. You got to have some balls to just go knock. That's like, it's not normal life, It's just the guys who do it every day. It's a gift, man. It's truly a skill. It's a talent, and you just don't retain it. It's like a muscle. You got to keep doing it.
Getting used to saying that no, hearing that no is a hard thing for a lot of people,
Why are you on my doorstep? Well,
because I'm hungry and I need food.
That's right. So yeah, Nextdoor, and then I started doing my website. I never did Facebook as much early on. Maybe I think that would probably be a better option for me if I would have noticed it. But Nextdoor was a rogue environment, and you can make good money there. Then you didn't have to buy a zip code. So
somebody said, why don't you let Cody talk? Because Cody, he just knows everybody in his whole neighborhood. And so he don't know nothing about websites and that stuff either, because he just knew everybody. And that's how he grew his business. So we're talking to people that don't know everybody. And Nashville is a spot that it does have a lot of money. I mean, Nashville is not poor by any means. That's probably when I was down there last time, they were like, a lot of people are coming from California. And so now it's getting, now we're getting all the liberals down there. So good luck on that, I guess, is the only thing I can say about that. But that's nor here or there, because I don't want to get in that discussion. So that's why I've been talking to Lean and Mean It up here, because I'd had Cody, and we'll talk some with Cody too, because I want to talk a little bit about Wash-A-Thon coming up. There's only a few tickets left, so if you haven't gotten that ticket, you need to make sure that you get it. And again, you can either go to Cody's site, or you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/Wash-A-Thon. And so why So what really set your business to go from one spot to the next? What was that one thing that it was like, you know, I don't need to take every job on. I can do the same job at this place, but I can go over here and make 3 times as much. And what made you really be into the lean and mean? What was that one thing that was like, you know what, I can do it for $300, or I can go do a $500,000 house wash.
Right. So we started testing that. I say we because a buddy of mine who lived with me for a while becomes, he's one of my best friends now. We started testing this whole high ticket thought, where I could position myself as the expert in the field. So how I did that was I would say, listen, I'm not the big company. You get me, the owner. I would basically, the formula is this: if you can't fix it, feature it. Right. So I couldn't fix that I didn't have 10 trucks. I couldn't fix that I didn't have this big infrastructure. But what I could feature is that they get me, the owner, the guy they're talking to, the guy who sold them the job is going to be cleaning the interior windows in their baby's bedroom. Okay. Like I just sold them on that angle. Like, and that's how I was getting, $800 for these houses that a lot of dudes would be like, man, that's a $300 window clean. I'm like, bro, I was cleaning that stuff for 800 all the time. And I just started positioning like that and just testing to see if I could close at that rate, see if I could get that money. And I think that's a fear factor for a lot of people. They're scared to lose the lead, or they're scared to be, too expensive. But you know what? Some of these people call me back year after year after year. Now they're calling me back and they're like, you don't clean windows anymore? I'm like, nah, dog. And I moved on, bro. Make that other money, man.
So let's talk about a little bit about how did you start? So did you just know all this information about marketing, and did you just like automatically just, it just popped in your head, or did you take any type of training or anything like that to help you learn? I mean, have you taken courses, or how have you grown your knowledge of everything that you've grown in?
I've spent a lot of money on courses, right? I spent a lot of money. Like I have a set budget every year to spend
Wait,
on
well,
courses.
you have a set budget that you just put for yourself?
Yeah. Like
And,
this year.
and can I ask how much it is? Because I know what mine is, and I don't know if it's going to be close to yours or not. But I do the same thing because at the end of the day, it's called investing in yourself. So what's your set budget for Mean and Lean to keep growing up here?
Yeah. So my budget, it started off very small. Now it's about 5,000 to 7,000 a year. But I want to get that to 30,000 a year. I want to spend like 30,000 a year in just education and just hanging out with people who are better than me in whatever I'm looking to learn. Really, yeah, just hanging out with people who have it's a different mindset, man. I was starting to hang out because I had that music thing. Remember, Jason? So I had the Instagram, I had the Facebook, I had, verification on all these things. So I still had these guys reaching out to me because I was verified. Well, this young, like 25-year-old ex-pro soccer player reached out to me. He's like a multimillionaire in like different businesses now. And he like reached out, he was coming to town, and we all hung out, me and a bunch of other people that were in the music game. And this dude just blew my mind on some of the stuff and some of the money he was making at 25 years old through Instagram. And I was like, okay, so this is all positioning. This is all like, how do I make myself be the preeminent window cleaning company, or the preeminent pressure wash. It was transitioning throughout, right? He was showing me, he had a Ferrari, he was flying on private jets. And I was like, dude, all right, so I could take this and implement this into my window cleaning business as positioning myself as the premier person, right? The person that if you want a concierge service, you go with me, right? And that's how I sold it. So, I invested a lot in courses, but I also, was kind of right place, right time to hang out with some people who showed me how positioning works and the power of that it can have on really any business, man. It's literally any bit, from coffee to pressure washing to whatever you want.
There's millionaires doing all kind of things.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
I mean, look at Cody down here. He's a millionaire of doing pressure washing build. So,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, I don't know if your volume's on or not, but we'll include you now. Do you have any questions for me, Lean?
Yeah, I had one, but he answered it already. It's really odd that his education budget for the year is the same as my ammo budget. So we're like meshed. We're synced up on that. I like that. Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to grab my charger and move to my other porch. That's how rich I am. I have 2 porches, so just bear with me. I'm gonna move over here and plug up my phone.
All right. Yep, that's fine. So once you started learning, you are actually ranked pretty. You're ranked number 2 or number 1 for soft washing versus pressure washing or something like that. How did you? Was this through some of your trainings that you took to be able to get ranked for that?
Yeah. So I was really focused on claiming like at least top 3 in my city for the service. If somebody Googled, I just wanted to be number 1 or number 2. I just wanted to get the call, man. I don't care if I'm one of 3 bids. I just wanted to get in the rankings, you know. And after that, it started kind of taking an obsession. You know, I started getting obsessed with the number 1 spot or trying to rank, you know, number 1, trying to beat everybody who were kind of my heroes that I didn't know, you know, in my city. Yeah, so that training started. I just started really kind of Googling. Obviously, there's a lot of free info out there on how to rank, but I took some classes and started learning for some guys and invested in some courses and stuff like that, and just really just immersed myself in that whole world of, you know, Google SEO, trying to rank. Like that was big. And I think, look, looking back, I mean, without a roadmap, it was a lot longer than it should have been for me. But if a guy can rank number 1, think of what type of, you know, change.
Now, did that happen overnight? Did that happen overnight, or how long did it take for that to start ranking?
Nah, it probably took me 2 solid years to rank number 1.
Yeah, it took me about 3 to get ranking number 1 for Cincinnati. So
yeah,
it just takes,
and
you know.
It does take time. A lot of guys don't have that patience, man. They get a site done or something and they're like, hey, I'm not ranking. And I'm like, bro, like it's brand new site, man. Like, and you know, you'll see it. They're not blogging they're not doing anything. You could look at the site. You could tell it's just sitting, you know, they're not giving Google any signals to say, hey, this could be an authority, right? You got to give Google what they want. They'll tell you what they want. Give it to them, man.
Yep. And that's the thing, you know, if you're not first, you're last, Ricky Tommy. It's what somebody just put on here, Wild West wash services.
Wild West.
And that is true, you know, and if you're not the first 2, you are last at that point on Google, you know, on the organic side, because if you're not 2, you're probably going to be down about 4 or 5, because good old Home Advisor and every other Home Advisor and all that bull crap's going to be up in there too. So.
Yeah, beating out Home Advisor and Yelp. You know, one thing is good is Google does give a tip of the hat to the local business, but they only give a tip of the hat to 1 or 2. They're still going to, because of the directory power of Home Advisor and Angie's List and all of these things and just how many clicks they get and how many links they have to their sites, man, it's millions. But Google is aware that they are a lead aggregator, and they're not going to prioritize them usually over a well-built site with, you know, some good traffic to it. Usually they'll let that guy 1 or 2 rank up there, and then they'll put everybody else below them.
So we've been on here. Let's see how long I've been on here. We've been on here about 30 minutes. So at Wash-A-Thon, I'm going to go down the Wash-A-Thon road. This guy down here is going to be talking about pressure washing, soft washing. We talk a lot about the same. I've done classes with Cody, and Cody's done classes with me, and ours is pretty much, you can line them up, and you know, we're going to talk about the same stuff. I'm going to talk about this stuff up here, some Christmas lights. So there will be Christmas lights. So pressure washing, Christmas lights. What value are you going to bring? What fire are you going to bring to Wash-A-Thon? What will somebody learn by coming to Wash-A-Thon for your 2-hour session?
Well, I guess within the last 2 years, I've just acknowledged the fact that I am a subject matter expert in this little niche thing. I didn't really consider myself that. Just Aaron can kind of understand, like Alabama people don't consider themselves experts in a whole lot of stuff. So it just kind of dawned on me a couple years, even when we started Wash-A-Thon, it was Sean mentioned it. Hey, we should do a thing, you know, me and you and maybe some of these other guys. And I was like, yeah, we should. So I looked out there in the landscape of
You mean
YouTube.
Sean's good for something at least?
Sean is good for texting me early in the mornings. He's good at that. And but I looked at the lay of the land and I saw Aaron. I never spoken to Aaron. Saw you, never talked to you, you know, other than in chat, and saw Bobby. And the thing that I like about Wash-A-Thon, my favorite thing is there's not just 5 random guys. It's 5 particularly selected people who have a niche. You know, like you just said, mine and yours training covers a lot of the same stuff, but you do so much more than what I do. I teach this class 3 times a month, if not 4 times a month, and it's a soft wash focused class. So what we're going to look at is the technical ratios, building materials, organic, non-organic, what to do, what not to do to go out and actually do the work. But like you said earlier, and I say this in my class, if anybody's watching that's took my class at my location, I'm a rig building dude, right? That's our biggest thing that we do. The rigs don't matter. Okay. It's like the points in whose line is it anyway? The rigs don't matter. You can go buy any, I just got your text. You can go buy anything from anybody. It doesn't make any difference if you don't have customers. And so day number 1 at Wash-A-Thon is all about how do we do this work? And as guys, I've just noticed that dudes are really, we like thingies. We like gizmos and, you know, we like all the stuff we can tangibly put our hands on. And don't get me wrong, you've got to have that stuff because you can't go out there and be successful with a pump up sprayer. You could actually make a little bit of money, but you're not going to make 6 figures, which the first year I was full time, we made $192,000, 2 guys in a truck that we threw together. Year 2, we did 170, but we were changing our business model to do more training and that kind of stuff. And you're not going to do that without equipment and without the knowledge of how to do it. So it's important, like it is, but it's only at best 50% of the equation. The other part is a mental game. It's getting your mindset right to know how to run a business, and it's acquiring customers. I was talking to my dad today, and my dad's he's just a guy that's worked in a plant his whole life, and he comes up with ideas now to help me. You know, he'll come to the shop, man, I got this idea, man. This right here, y'all need this. This is it. This is the idea. I'm like, Dad, it's not going to work. And then I'll tell him all the 5 or 6 reasons why it's not going to work. And he's like, oh, dang, I guess I see what you're saying. Even my dad's a smart guy, but if he got into something like this, he would have a big learning curve on that side of the business. Dad don't need no help spraying that yang. He taught me how to spray yang. You know, he knows everything that I know as far as cleaning organics, non-organic, what to watch for, but it's the opposite side. Day 1 at Wash-A-Thon is important. The reason day 2 is on day 2 is because that's what you need to walk away with. That's the stuff that you really need to grab a hold of. And you teach a lot of that stuff, Jason, with Google My Business and that kind of thing. It's very important. You don't have to come to Wash-A-Thon. You don't have to. Don't care. Stay at home. You can figure it all out. It's going to take you about a year, 18 months, and that's not a guarantee that you're even going to figure it out. I'm not saying we've got it all figured out, but betwixt the 5 of us, it's a pretty good gathering of subject matter experts. So I like to stay in my lane. I like to teach what I know, and that's the part that I like to focus on.
Yep, and that's a good point. Greg Townsend put, I can sell ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. Equipment is definitely only 50% of the thing. And a lot of times, like you said, a lot of people get caught up in the equipment side, you know, and, you know, when I started out really cheap. And you know, when you spend money in marketing is the hardest thing that you can, because it's one of those things that you just give money to and you don't always see the return on it. And if you don't know how to do things to make sure that we can see the return on it, you know, and sometimes it's like fishing. We got to throw a rod out here and we got to throw a rod out here, and you never know where that big fish is. But once we find out where the big fish are, what are we going to do? We're going to put some more bait on that sucker and throw it out there. So we're going to put some more $100 bills on there to go out there and get them $1,000, you know. And so that's what we got to do at the end of the day. So first off, it'll be Cody. I'll probably interject a little bit, but I'm going to let him do that mostly. And then I'm going to teach Christmas lights. Christmas lights is a very successful business. Last year, it did over $500,000 in little old Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio is probably one of the poorest areas in the country of you know, how much people make at the end of the day. Other than Alabama, it might be down there with that too. You know, they're still, I don't know what they're doing down there, but it's in the middle of nowhere. But it is a great business to get into. And we did a lot, you know, and I will go in detail. Obviously, you know, it's only going to be a shortened class, so you're not going to get, you'll get some hands-on. I'm going to bring all the material. And again, this is not, when you come to Wash-A-Thon, this is not a pitch fest. A lot of the other places that you'll go to is pitch, you know, buy my product. I don't care. I don't want you to buy my product. You know, pretty much what I'm giving away down here at Wash-A-Thon is everything that I'm going to give away anyway to you right there. You're going to learn about pressure washing. You're going to learn about Christmas lights, and you're going to learn about marketing, and you're going to get to be able to be around us to get asked those questions. So I'm going to go in detail on Christmas lights and talk really deeply about Christmas lights. And how we can, you're going to learn how to install them, how to bid them, how to quote them, how much money to quote them, where to get equipment, everything that you need for Christmas lights. So that's going to be day one. Day one is all hands-on, touchy-feely kind of stuff. That is the stuff. Now, day two is where you're going to learn some stuff that will make you the money at the end of the day. This stuff here is the, you know, this is the stuff that you can hold on to. But day two is what really will either make you grow your business and be successful and change your life at the end of the day. The stuff me and Cody's talking about, that's a $20 an hour job of paying that. The stuff that Aaron's going to talk about and Bobby Walker's going to talk about, that right there is what's going to make you be successful. So Aaron, what value are you going to give through Wash-A-Thon?
Yeah, man. So I thought a lot about this, right? And I, you know, through building these courses out for guys and being in this game and figuring out how to teach and how to convey a message that someone will understand it, not only understand it, they can apply it, right? And also understanding something kind of what Cody said is that, you know, I come from a blue collar environment. You probably do too, Jason. Cody, we all kind of understand the Alabama life, that late model life, turning wrenches. And it's just a thing, man. We turn wrenches, we get dirty, and we forget about the whole marketing element. So for me, it wasn't about completely teaching marketing at such a high level that it was unabsorbable or ethereal, to where it was like, yeah, I'm going to teach you some like deep level SEO stuff that you're never going to like understand because there's 10 other things you got to do. What I'm going to be teaching on at Wash-A-Thon is something that guys can truly go home and apply the day after. And if they keep doing it over time, because I have, they're going to be able to beat their competition hand over fist. And here's why, because 98% of their competition isn't going to do it. That's it. When it comes to some of this stuff, it's just, you have to do things that the other guys aren't going to do. And here's the blessing. You're in pressure washing, and most guys are kind of lazy. So you don't have to do a ton. They'll go outside and sweat all day long. But when they come home, they're going to crack a beer and they ain't going to touch that computer. And all right, that's all they're going to do. So this is the beauty. This is your chance. All right. You get home, you're going to hop on the computer. You're going to do some of the things that I'm going to teach you, which is content marketing. I'm going to teach you basically how to build out content that Google loves to rank. All right. And what I mean by that is I want to get your authority up. I want to get the trust that Google has for your website up in the marketplace. If Google trusts you more in the marketplace versus the other yahoos around you who aren't touching their site, okay, they will rank you higher, and in turn you will have more traffic, and in turn you'll have more prospects, more business. That's kind of how it is. If Google trusts you and they believe you're the authority, dude, it's a happy day for you in as far as lead generation. So that's what I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach you what you need to do exactly to build out high quality content that will turn dollars for you, because it has for me.
And again, this is a thing that is, yeah, I think, what do we have? 13 spots. If that, I think we're right at 13 spots. Is that correct? And we will out.
Maybe it might be 12.
So 10, 12 spots, you better make sure you get on there and find it. I'll put the link up here a couple more times in the comments, and it'll also be at the end here. I will put it again. So I'm actually posting his Christmas lights for whatever reason it's on that site. So that's what had me confused earlier.
Yeah. So tell them to Google how to clean roof shingles. Just go. You remember the soft wash versus pressure wash? I remember that well. There's another tsunami. There's another tsunami coming. So
did you get that ranking across the country too?
You know, you could watch a tsunami. You can run, but it don't really matter.
And that's the thing about ranking a site. You know, that's the thing about ranking a site and having authority on that. I mean, you probably get leads. You could get leads all the way across the country at this point because you have ranked it. You know, it's not just he's going to get leads for Nashville, but he could get leads from all over the country once you start learning how to rank stuff like that. And that is the important goal of it. Now, do you think he went and paid a $100 class for that to figure that out? I'm going to probably say you probably spent, I mean, if he's got a $5,000 budget now, you know I've taken some SEO classes and I've spent over $5,000 just in SEO classes. So.
And what's that worth, right? Think about that at the end of the day. Like, I know that most of my leads now go to, well, the good ones go to me, but like some of the other ones, I just send them out to my buddies, and all the window cleaning stuff I send out to a window cleaning company here in town. But if you're capitalizing it organically, I mean, right now, organically, there's probably 250,000 just organic, just kind of just trickling in on the regular. And that's with zero outreach for me. And that's a one-man truck. Remember, like, I'm not optimized and not trying to optimize for some of the major cities south of me that have really wealthy stuff. So well, I'm coming for those, but those are next. All right. But I'm not currently. So just organic, no other ads. I want to show guys how to get that organic traffic. And, you know, Bobby, I think, is going to teach on some Google My Business stuff, some reviews.
And how to talk. You know, a lot of people don't know how to answer the phone, and he goes over his phone script. You know, a lot of people I've listened into people, and it's like,
oh, it's horrific.
You're never going to get customers.
Yeah, he's got a very unique way of using his scripts and how he implements those into his workers as well. His guys, like, they use the same scripts, and that's how he's gotten 500 some odd reviews, man, is because he teaches it to his guys. He has a certain script that he uses, and it's very, very, very effective.
And that at the end of the day, that's what we got to do. You know, it's all about, you know, Bobby talks about a lot about it's the little things. And the little things, like I was saying earlier on my Zoom call with all you guys, it's the little things. And it starts with the website, little things. You know, you can have your frequent asked questions. So that way people, you know, you're giving value, you're giving information, you're giving all the other stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the cleaning side or even the Christmas lights. We're just a customer service business that puts up Christmas lights, or we're just a customer service business that does cleaning at the end of the day. And so, you know, all the little things add up, you know, and it starts from the very beginning, and it goes all the way through the end. It goes through your follow-up, all the little things is what will grow your business at the end of the day. You can be like Cody and do $200,000 your first year and have zero email list, zero nothing. And so that's a failure. Because why that's a failure? Because year 3, if he would have put that $200,000 into a CRM of, let's say, $500 for that year, he would be in year 3 and he would do 3 times that, because you're going to get all that repeat business because you followed up with that customer over and over and over.
Yeah, that was probably I tell this in my classes, that was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. But I literally didn't know what I didn't know. All I knew was,
but you were saving money.
Oh man, didn't even know it existed. But all I knew to do was fill up my schedule for the next 2 weeks. That way me and Wilkins were good. We're good, dog. But the cost per customer acquisition number never moved. I mean, if anything, it was going up. That number should go down, and you want to plateau it as low as possible. But we're just acquiring customers, and I'm good at you're talking about earlier door knocking. I'm really good at door knocking. I may do a mock front porch, door-to-door sales while we're at Wash-A-Thon, and I'm like, I don't like doing it, but I'm good at it. If I had just spent the gas money that I spent going out and knocking doors on some of this other stuff, my wash business would have, and it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not like regretful about it because my business has shifted. But if I was still dependent on a wash truck, how much easier would it be to keep a full schedule? Because I've been doing it 17 years, right? So I've already got a list. There's a list and the ether. I can't use it. And it's really stupid of me. So I'm hoping some of these guys that come, when you come to something like Wash-A-Thon, you're learning from my mistakes. You're learning from the things that you literally don't know what you don't know. And so you're learning from guys that have been in this for a minute. I did not keep really good records. 15 years part-time washing in the summers, and then, a few years full-time. But I've done about 1.4 million in washing. That ain't bad for a bunch of summers and a couple of years, actually out doing it full time. But I could have done 3 times that, if I had really understood the game. It's just not a thing that we're programmed to do. So efficiency, you talk a lot about this out in the field, is efficiency. And that's a big deal. We're going to talk about that when we go out on the job site. Guys doing things, you'll get the job done, but you could do a whole nother house wash every day or a whole nother roof cleaning and work the same amount of time. So I want to talk about that some at Wash-A-Thon. And then, like you said too a minute ago, it's not a pitch fest, guys. I don't care if you buy. I don't want you to buy anything. I don't need you to buy anything. Last year I had a skid there, but the only reason it was there is because the dude was at Wash-A-Thon that just bought it. I didn't take a skid. We're not there. Wash-A-Thon isn't to sell you something. It's literally it is a training environment. That's all it's got to be.
So somebody just put, "What's up, guys? I just got home from completing my biggest ticket job, 4,800. Thanks for all your advice, all 3 of you." And that's what Wash-A-Thon can help you do too. I mean, yeah, we give you a lot of advice here, but where you come rub shoulders with us and other people, not just us, other people. I mean, we have people that have been in business 5 years. Hamid have been in business, but was in a struggling business. Because he just, he come, and this year he's like freaking knocking it out of the ballpark. And so, just coming and meeting people, at the end of the day, if you can come meet people and you join and you can be around like-minded people, you can get a lot of, that's how I got phone numbers way back when. And when I had questions, not just from us, but other people been in that circumstance, when you have an issue, a lot of times somebody else has already had that issue. So you can ask that question and meet up and, shoot, I talk probably 3 or 4 hours just at night, each night, just talking to people and getting to know them and, just answering their questions in a little circle that we all got in the hotel. And so that was something that was definitely something that you can do.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, dude, like some of the guys who came to the event, one thing that I did notice about them, and this is very unique because I used to have like an epiphany every couple years, and I feel like now I have epiphanies like, I don't know, once a week.
Don't she
Like,
Epiphany works at the hair salon, don't she?
yeah, don't date a hairstylist. That's a road. Hey, I already been there, boy. Don't do that, cuz. Um, but I feel like I have this, like Cody said, you don't know what you don't know. I have one of those every week, man. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this could be much bigger than where I'm putting myself right now. This could be much bigger. This is much bigger. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to brag on Hamid, because Hamid is like one of those, he's kind of an avatar for the event in a way. The guys that come to this event are not scared to invest in themselves. All right. They're not fearful of that. Hamid is one of those guys. He'll put money on his own learning. Like that guy, he's doing like QLA. That stuff's tens of thousands of dollars, that event. He's putting money down on that. Like Hamid is one of those guys who's committed to bettering himself and his business. If that's what you are, you belong at with us, because that's what you're kind of getting. You're getting this containered event that obviously there's other events that have hundreds of people. We're very aware. That's not what it's supposed to be. That's not what we set it out to be. We wanted it to be very container, very, very small, very intimate, to where we could connect with everyone, really make some lasting changes that trickle out. You know, the guys who are in the Wash-A-Thon group on Facebook, like a lot of those, I love seeing like these guys come out. Hey man, landed $10,000 this, $12,000 this job. It's like, man, so amazing. You never know, because we had our first one, right? I was like, I don't know, like I'm gonna Aaron and see if I can teach these guys some stuff, man. Like that was, I just wanted to bring value, but to see it keep going and then to see the results of the event is probably the biggest, most gratifying thing for me.
So talking about that, the compassionate capitalist using Jason Geiman's Christmas light advice landed a $14,000 HOA job, closed $4,000 of lights today alone. So I'm not just, and he was a guy that was kind of learning from another dude that was cheap, that is actually learned from, I've been on him, but you got to raise your prices, and it's not, you don't get to $1 million business by being a cheap business. That you just don't get there. You don't get there at the $99, you guys. And so, that is something that is huge. And so somebody's asking, who is Hamid? Hamid is a guy that flew all the way in from Portland, Oregon. And so he flew from the other side of the country to get here. And so, he is a guy that, it wasn't easy for him to get here. He flew all the way in, he stayed an extra couple nights, and, it was hard for him to get here. It's a 6-hour flight across the country, and it's not something that's easy to do when we wake up early, they're still sleeping at that time. And so he had to deal with all that kind of stuff. And so he's a dude that wanted to really push his business to the next limit. And that's what Wash-A-Thon is that's what we kind of want it to be, is get you go from here to here and get you started. And if you're just starting out, we're building that foundation, because at the end of the day, if you don't have a good foundation, it's kind of like building these houses back here. If you don't have a good foundation, these houses are going to fall over. And so if you have a good solid foundation, you can really build and grow from there.
I think Aaron, you hit on something there. We've talked about it privately too. It's there's other events that are kind of the high volume. There's hundreds of people at them. There's lots of folks, and that's fine. Those have their place, but that's not what we wanted to do from Jump Street. Like it's the same mindset that you have, that I've tried to always have with my wash customers, right? Because these guys that are coming to Wash-A-Thon, they are our customers pretty much. So we want to, they're high paying customers, because the ticket ain't cheap. Like giving you a cheat code, price got to go up. Like there's 5 dudes that don't need your money in the first place. So to get us together and pause our lives, we got a lot of stuff going on. The price ain't cheap. And we know that, like we own that. That's yes, facts. But the other side of that coin is the value that we're bringing to the event, to the training. Is I'd rather have the right 40 people, 50 people, whatever. We're set at 50, that's tops, but you know, we're about 40 sales right now. So I'd rather have the right 5 teachers to 40 something guys and be able to connect and really get, I mean, it's a crammed 2 days. It's not like, all right, so here's so-and-so and he's going to blab for 15 minutes. That's not what it is. I think there was almost an hour and a half of Q&A last time, right? Where we just sat up at the table and we did Q&A. That was the final thing that we did. So it's the same mindset we have with our wash customers. As far as I know, Bobby's the same way, that high ticket mindset, but high value at the same time. We want to be high ticket and be high value for the guys that come. I don't want them to leave. Like we talked about this last time, like we all sell stuff on the side. Like that's our business, is selling stuff, but we're not holding. It's not like you're going to go to Wash-A-Thon and Cody's going to give you the Adobe 1.5 version of his class. Now, if you want the full class, you can see me after and I'll sell you, you know, the rest of the cheat sheet. That's not it. You get everything. We'll tell you everything I know, good, bad, and ugly. That's the mindset of Wash-A-Thon. I hope we can keep that feng shui there, because it's very good. Dude, Hamid is he stuck out in my mind as well, because he pops up on the radar with all of us. He called my office the other day, a couple of weeks ago, just checking in, just like, hey, just make sure you guys are good down there. Talk to him for a little while. And he is a really good example of somebody who probably would have been fine. You know, he wasn't about to go under or go bankrupt or anything. He was doing fine in his business, but he was just ready to get beyond, I'm okay. In this kind of soft washing, pressure washing kind of stuff, the profit margins are so high, it's not hard to stop living paycheck to paycheck. But if you're not careful, you'll live, instead of living till next Friday, you'll live a month out. I want to live a year out. That's my plan.
And you know, that's the thing that we talk about a lot about pressure washing, but at the end of the day, it's really about changing your life. It's changing the way that you are, you know, instead of living paycheck to paycheck, you get financial freedom, you know, paying off all your vehicles and paying off everything, or just being debt free, and especially in your personal expenses, being debt free. Time freedom is a huge one. You know, a lot of guys I know, Greg Townsend in here, you know, he was he was a chef in that, and he couldn't go, he was a coach, and they wouldn't even work a lot of times. And now that he started his own business and he's got time freedom, he's able to go coach his kids every week. That right there is more important than any job out there. I don't care what you're doing, you know, that 9-to-5 grind. I know a lot of people that come to Wash-A-Thon last year are older and they're tired of the 9-to-5 grind. If you're tired of the 9-to-5 grind, this is something that you can do. Even if you're older, we have several people, I've trained people that are in their 60s that started business. This is not a hard business. You know, it is not a hard business as in pressure washing. You know, the old days of pressure washing, that was hard. You know, when you just use pressure and you didn't use chemical, that's hard. But this isn't hard. And, you know, yes, we're talking about the business side of it, but we're talking about giving you time freedom, financial freedom, you know, the freedoms that you wouldn't have otherwise. It's not just about starting a pressure washer. It's about giving you financial freedom and giving you freedom of being able to go do what you want. You know, when you work, a lot of times I know people that work 9-to-5 can never go do anything. They never go on vacation. They never, you know, all they do is work. And, you know, even in the pressure washing world, you got to grind. You know what? You know how many Saturdays and Sundays I worked when I owned my own business? Zero. You know how many late nights I worked? Very few. I might work till 6, but I never worked till 9-10 o'clock all night long. And I didn't have to, because I made enough money during those 5 days. I didn't need to work on the weekend. I didn't need to work at night, you know. And then once I grew and scaled my business, I definitely, you know, I know there's some people out there that, oh, look, and my guys are working and he's there working there on that Saturday and Sunday. No, learn how to grow a business, learn how to scale that business. Don't be that person that, I got to go every job. Well, guess what? I can't trust my guys. Well, you know what? That's something that if you can't trust them, then you might not want to be in business at the end of the day. Or who's to say you want to grow and scale? You can be like this guy over here, mean and lean, and, you know, be that one man show and bring in all the profit. And you don't need to grow. You know, he's doing $200,000, 250, and you're putting $150,000 in your pocket. I got a guy in nowhere, Indiana, doing the exact same thing of, you know, bringing in $150,000 and putting $120,000 to $130,000 in his pocket in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. Jeremy Cochran. And it can happen. It's in Connersville, Indiana. You can look up Connersville, Indiana, and it's a dot in the middle of Indiana that is nothing. And he's making 150,000, bringing in 120, 130 in his pocket. It can happen. It can happen. I guarantee you it can happen.
So many guys are blown away. Like, you know, those are untouchable numbers, right? It's like,
It's a rookie number. They get those numbers.
It's like, it's just funny, man. You know, Lean and Mean is built off of not getting real big. Cause I literally can't deal with a knucklehead. I just can't. Like I don't story about your situation. Look, I love people, very empathetic. I will do for my friends. I will help them out and give them a shirt off my back. I truly will. But I don't like employees. I've had come to conclusion with that. I like contractors. I love to pay someone. I'll pay them and they're an expert and they deliver something to me, say a website or something, right? They're an expert. But for me to have Ricky Tommy hanging out around me all the time, it's not my thing. Now, for some people, it is. But that's the beauty of it, is even as a lean and mean business, a small business, pressure washing, whatever, you can bring home numbers that are more than your friends who graduated college, which I did not. So it's funny, man. It's very funny in that way that this business has those types of margins. But I think it's also
you got to pay to play in the employee game, because I've got about $25,000 of payroll every month. So, you know, you see the building, you see, Southeast Soft Wash, they got their own soap and they're building rigs. Yeah, but it's the same thing. I mean, it's, if you ratio it out, I mean, it's just freaking running. I'm still running a truck, you know, it's just, I'm not on a truck. It's the same thing. And it's a lot of headache. And like Bobby wants to, that's what he said at Wash-A-Thon last time. He wants to take over the world. He's an evil genius. But at the end of the day, he's going to have the same walk-off. You know, it's apples and oranges until you go to that through the roof, you know, level. And Jason, you were talking about like the guys that are trying to scale. If you're trying to scale and you got to be out there every day and on Saturday, you're doing it wrong, man. Like you're doing it wrong. Sam Walton wasn't at every Walmart store. I mean, and he didn't even care. Like, he's just got people that he trusts. But there's a lot to be. I've got great people. Like, how do you? I told my guys, we fed them. I sent you guys a picture. I fed them Friday night. Had food catered over there to them, and we sat there and ate. And I told them in the little spiel I gave before we ate, I was like, you know how you motivate people? You don't. You just hire motivated people. You can't motivate people. And the one thing that holds me back in my area is I pretty much bought them all. Like, there ain't nobody left that I would want around me every day and trust to work for me. So it's either way you go with it, you're going to be fine. You know, just one guy, weekend warrior, that guy's going to be fine. If you're ready to quit your crappy job or quit your decent job, and let's say you like to play golf, leave Tuesdays open, my dude. Go play golf. Like de-stress Tuesdays. That can be your thing.
That's called Marketing Tuesday.
No, you don't. No, not Tuesdays. Do that on Mondays.
I meant the playing golf side of it.
I've never played golf. I live on a golf course over there. I've never been on it. But you can run this kind of a business how you want to run it. You can be one guy in a truck. You can be like Ray Notario is going to be there. Guest speaking, just a small block of speaking. He's got a guy he called Big John Sharp, and they're like me and Dusty were. They're two guys in a truck. You know, that was how we did it, and we could have done. I've done 7 house washes in a day. I don't really care about that life. Like, I'm like, let's do 3 and go to Chicken Salad Chick. I mean, that's a good plan too, because at the end of the day, I've still got money in the bank. You can't take it with you. loving on that money is the root of all evil. So you got to make money, but the thing that attracted me to leave my career and start this full time was I didn't even think I was going to make more money. I was just like, if I make the same, I'll be all right. It was the freedom of the schedule. That's what I wanted, is the freedom to say, hey, I need to go do this tomorrow, and I'm not going to have to worry about asking permission. My 3 kids are adopted, and I got the boys and Alyssa. They came to us when Alyssa was 8 and my boys were 2 years old. I got twins. I already missed out on enough of their life. Like, I ain't working a Saturday. I've literally worked 3 Saturdays in the last 3 years. And it was just, no way around it kind of stuff. But the schedule freedom cannot be understated.
And Aaron does the same thing. When he gets his kids, he don't work when you got your kid. Boy, do you.
I shut down, man. Nobody gets that time. I'm very, very, I'm like a dog, man, when it comes to time like that, man.
Hey, listen, Aaron was talking to me 2 nights ago, and we were talking some stuff, and he's like, hey, my boys FaceTime me. Let me call you back. Click. And I was like, gotcha, dog. It's what it is, man.
It took me a little while to understand that. But I do cherish my time with my son, and it's the most special thing in the world to me, dude. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care if somebody falling off a building, bro. I'm hanging out with my boy. Y'all gonna have to pick him up because I ain't getting him. All right. Y'all gotta, like, it's just something that I believe you got to almost be willing to wall yourself off to be present, because I've learned, even when I am with my boy, right, the phone starts vibrating. So what do I do now? I literally put the phone in another room. I turn it off. It's not allowed to be around me because I know I'm susceptible to working. And that's one of the gifts that pressure washing has given me, is the ability to decide to put my phone away. Look, those prospects will wait. They'll be all right. Hey, they'll be all right. What are they going to do? Run off? No, they're calling somebody else. We'll call somebody else. I don't know what to tell you. I ain't worried about it.
Look,
that's another thing, man. Go ahead, Cody.
We left church tonight, and Emily was like, hey, I'm going to go by the office and print those shipping labels, because we had some orders over the weekend, a couple manifolds, some surfactant. I said, are you correct? No. That stuff can ship, it'd be all right. It can ship Monday. It can ship Tuesday. It'd be all right. We're not doing hard
all
service.
Right, man.
They'll be fine.
That's
They
right.
get it Monday or Tuesday.
Because if you don't, man, life and little things like that, work will start creeping in, dude. It'll creep in, and then eventually it's a part of your movement. It's a part of your brain, and you're not even present. Your son is speaking to you in your face about something he's very intrigued about, and you're not even listening.
Guilty.
And it took me many realizations to see that and convict myself. And that's one thing that pressure washing has given me, dude. Like, I don't care if the world's falling apart, dude. If my son is with me, that's priority. And that's a gift. I have the guys here at the coffee shop that I frequent, man. I come in I go every day, probably twice a day, because I just drink a lot of coffee. That's my vice. That and cigars. And I'll show up and they'll be like, man, dude, I need to do whatever you're doing. You show up in gym shorts smoking a cigar every day. I'm like, that's true. That is true. I had a little woe is me campaign going on this morning, but you're right. What am I talking about? It's a good life.
I mean, that's the whole reason. I know, like I say, I know Greg does it, play with his kids, and time with his kids is everything to him. And that right there is very important. And we're talking about Wash-A-Thon and that. And at the end of the day, we all really want you to be successful. We really do want you to be, otherwise we wouldn't get together. You know, that is the whole purpose of us coming together, is so that you can go out there and knock it out of the ballpark. And you know, you get us 5 guys together, you know, we've got many years of experience put together. You know, we probably got 50 years of experience put together by the time we put us all together that has been doing it, you know. And so that, you know, and the best way to learn is the school of hard knocks. You know, that's not the best way. The best way to learn is come and you know, get the shortcuts, because that's what you're going to learn at the end of the day, is the shortcuts. You're going to learn the shortcuts about marketing. You're going to learn the shortcuts about Christmas lights, marketing, pressure washing. You're going to learn about, you know, equipment and pressure washing and, you know, safety. We're going to, you know, Sean's going to talk about safety, and because safety is very important. You know, one of the guys that fell off the roof is going to be there, you know, and that's how important this stuff can get. You know, Mike's going to be there doing a short thing of, you know, talking about probably about his experience, and I'm going to give him a hard time about falling off the roof, you know, because that's what I do sometimes. And so,
how to land, that's what he's going to be teaching.
You know, you got to be like that cat down there to be able to land fine.
You got to hit and just roll. It's a roll technique.
You got to tuck and roll, Poco.
So
Sean's also going to talk. I'm going to probably hit some safety stuff too, because I did that for several years, taught safety and compliance. But Sean's going to hit on troubleshooting. And for you guys that are getting into the guys that'll be at Wash-A-Thon, they need to hear that. I've got dudes that have had rigs for over a year and still don't know nothing about it. Like it's this up here for them. And when you're out in the field, you need to know basic troubleshooting. You need to know how to, Aaron, who do you call when your pump goes out? You don't call anybody. Go there and fix it. But we're not going to dive down on that. That's not like the purpose of Wash-A-Thon, but there are segments of workshops that are important. We've kind of got the big stuff covered. It's the stuff that, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll spend a Saturday fixing something that I could fix in 15 minutes. It's just like, hey, when this happens, look for these things and then kind of go in this direction. So Sean will be talking about that kind of stuff and the safety stuff. Extremely important. It is. And I'm a safety and compliance dude, but like I was the chillest safety manager ever. The upper management, they didn't like me because I'd go out on the floor and be like, look, dude, don't get caught doing that. Like, you can do it, but don't get caught doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you see me coming, I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that. But then there were other things that were serious things. And I'm like, look, man, if I see you doing that again, I might have to write you up because you're going to die. you're gonna mess around and you're going to be sleep. You're going to be DRT. You're going to be dead right there. So
you're costing me money right now.
Listen, man, you know,
you're a liability to me right now.
Safety, it's like your taxes and safety, they get overlooked until payday comes, and then you're like, well, dang, I'm screwed now. I don't know what to do.
Why do we need to worry about taxes? I mean, what's that got to do with anything with pressure washing?
It's a big state, and it's directly above Mexico, and it's a large landmass. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and taxes, and in my class, I go over taxes because that's one thing that unless you like having people of the same person, the same, you know, males around you in a prison, taxes will send you there.
They got Al Capone on taxes, dog. They'll come get you.
Yeah. So, well, we've had 100 people, a little over about halfway of this. So we've actually had quite a few people on here tonight. Of course, we got some haters. We've only got 3 dislikes, but that's all right.
Who's the haters? Tell them to come see me.
Yeah. So
it'll be 59795 Highway 22. I'll be there all week, Monday to Friday. You want to pre-schedule that ahead, so call, you know, let me know when you're coming, and we'll just get that taken care of.
They ain't gonna show up. You already know they ain't gonna show up. Ain't nobody coming, bro.
They're not gonna.
Hey, they ain't our haters. They're our biggest fans. We get 4 right when we start up. You know, they rescheduling their dinner around our lives, bro.
Look, Alyssa did that little video the other day of her maid, you know, the journey of their maid service. And I could feel them hovering over that dislike button, but they were like, well, That is a good video. That's a good video. I ain't gonna do it.
That's good video. That's good video. Hey, they ain't talking about making no money off of nobody. They talking about being free. So hey, if they talking about 150 or less, we let them go. If they talk about anything high ticket, you give them that dislike, boy, right off of that. That's dude, y'all know, bro. Hey, that's the thing. This event is the premier event in the industry. It's the premier container event in the industry. There's no question about it. It has, kind of ruffled feathers in that way, in that we're packing so much knowledge with no itch. That's it. It's taking away learning curve with, like, I'll tell the guys that they can't buy from me the whole 2 days. You can't buy anything that I offer from my website at all. And that is completely anti what every single other event is. It's always something else on the back end of it. And that's what I think is unique. That's why I think everybody loves this event, is because we're just hanging and training and getting it all in, man.
And every one of us give you every bit of information that we know that, that both my classes are going to be in here. Like I say, Cody's going to go over a lot of the pressure washing, soft washing stuff. I'm going to go over all the Christmas light stuff. When we're when we're doing the actual in-person stuff, we'll kind of walk through, there's we kind of got a couple different systems, Cody and I, but we'll kind of give you both. So that way, some people like doing it this way, some people like doing it that way. And some people like to just try to flip it upside down and do it that way because they like doing everything hard. And so, that is definitely what we like to do at the end of the day, is to make sure that you understand how everything works, understand everything, and go from there, and that's what we're going to push. So I love Wash-A-Thon because I got to meet a lot of new guys and a lot of new friends that, that didn't know anything about pressure washing, and has really, that has really grown their business. And that's why I like Wash-A-Thon. So
last I keep saying last year, but it was this year. But last time we were out in the field and we cleaned that roof, it was, tan shingles, really nasty, a lot of glio up there, really looked bad. It was a good before and after. And how long were we on the job site, Jason? Probably 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that. And we're walking and talking. We're doing our pre-walkthrough. We're showing, okay, just pretend, guys, that we're doing this job for realsies, right? And so what do we do first? We do our walkthrough. What do we do second? What do we do third? What do we do fourth? What are we watching out for? Look, oh, did you notice that? Did you notice this? Okay, now we're actually applying chems. What ratios are we at? What are we doing for property protection? Look at the gut. We're going through all these things just like it's a straight up job. We didn't charge for that job because I wanted to do that job. So I told the homeowner, hey, this is what we're doing. It's free. There's going to be 47 people standing in your yard, but it's free, So if I had charged for it, just like a straight up job, that would have been probably $700 roof right there, $750 for that roof job, just the roof. And we did a couple house washy pieces around the house as well. So it was really cool to see the guys, we're standing in the front yard. I sprayed half the roof, and it probably needed 4%. Went ahead and hit it with that 6, to get those. Want to get quick results so everybody could see it happen in real time in the field. And they were watching the roof just go clean on the backside. And you could see like how easy in their mind, like, okay, I have psyched myself way up too much about this soft washing thing. And so there are some things you got to know because you'll screw up. But as long as you're following these, and we're going to give you all that stuff, it's pretty straightforward work. We just got to know what we're looking out for. We got to know how to do it, ratios. My guy, Jonathan, who had all this training, he's had all of it. You're still going to go out and learn stuff. And once you get out on your own, and that you're going to really start putting things into place. He has peeled all the stain off of a front door. He's cost me over $3,000 on a job that was a $3,600 job. And the customer got a full refund at a $2 million house. Now he heard this stuff because he was at Wash-A-Thon. He had just started with me like the week before Wash-A-Thon. And then he had heard this stuff. He'd been working on his own for a few weeks. Well, actually a few months. And I'm teaching a class one day and the phone rings and it's him telling me that he has turned this homeowner's door into paper mache. I was like, bro, what did you do? He just 3 or 4% right across a stained front door. And it just, so if you follow it, you'll be successful. I can't tell you you're going to follow it or not. You know, I'm just telling you that we're going to tell you everything that we know of how to run a successful service business in this particular niche. And this ain't 5 guys who thought about doing it. This is 5 guys who've done it.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on tonight. Any last words from anyone?
I'm good to go, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, I'm gonna stop this stream then. See you all at Wash-A-Thon then. Go get the ticket. I just put Cody's link. I've been putting mine. I will also put them in the description.